Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your man Ace. Um, so coming into today, uh, basically Tesla's up. Uh, well, let me actually, since this is the first video, let me turn on reactions. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So coming into today, we got a couple of things to look at before I draw out the charts. And basically, the plan is to look at I'm covering specifically Tesla, and every single day, what you guys can do is, if you're interested, follow along. If you're interested in learning as I learn, you can learn from my mistakes as I continue my day trading journey. I've been trading um, for the past couple of months, 2 months exactly. And let me show you. Let me bring this up. Oh, sorry. Oh, things. Yeah. I've been trading for the past couple of months. Let me bring up the calendar view. And as you can see here, here's the results of my trades. I specifically focus on Tesla, and occasionally I'll do, like a couple of other tickers like um, whether it's QQQ or SPY or Microsoft, um, Meta, the Mag 7. So, but yeah, so far so good. I'm posting my trading results. I'm doing a recap every single. Well, I was doing it every day, but I think I've reduced it to every week, unless I see something significant that I feel like you guys will find value in. But yeah, so I started back in recording my journal back in April, toward the end of April, and I've been doing pretty good so far. Like, oh, let me show you the Discord as well. So I have Discord, my day trading journal in the Discord. I got two different Discords that I'm sharing. One with my friend of mine, and my own LM Enterprise. So I'm gonna have my journal in the or my Discord server in the link if you're for those that's interested. All right, but typically what I do is I go through and I recap quickly what I did for the day. I typically only focus on one trade, um, and then I'll post the results. Currently, I'm focusing on a 90-day challenge where I'm learning from my mentor. Now, my mentor, I have two different mentors. One is Chris Sane, and the other is Scarface. Now, I've joined each community or each mentor program does cost. Um, Scarface's mentorship was 3,500, and Chris Sane's mentorship was only $10 a month. But the 101 with any pro trader, including himself, is 150 bucks or above. And I found one of the pro traders to be very helpful. His name is Curtis. In Chris Sane's Discord community, and he's really simplified understanding how to day trade. So that's where I began. One day, it just came across my YouTube feed, and I decided to check it out. And you know, to my surprise, he made his explanation of day trading was very, very simple, and I was able to understand and grasp the concept. So I decided to watch him for a period of 1 month. After watching him for 1 month, he was trading live every Thursday. So I watched him for a period of 1 month. And then I decided to check him out for a second. And I think during the third month, that's when I actually signed up for his 101s. And during our first 101, we traded live, and I was able to recoup a portion of the money that I paid for the 101. I actually bought a bundle of three 101s, which was 450 bucks, and it may have been the first or the second session. I ended up um, winning a gain of 250 bucks. So that was pretty cool, man. I was pretty excited about that. Wasn't expecting too much. Was just looking for someone who could explain day trading stock options simply and help me understand how possible it is to make money on a regular basis, and potentially replace my income as a software engineer, six figure salary software engineer. That because listen, man, the company I was working for was very stressful and it just wasn't working out. So anyway, that's all I was looking for, right? And with that said, what I wanted to do was kind of just highlight some of the things that I post in my day trading journal before we jump in. um, so basically it's just a recap of what I did that day, how many trades I took, and possibly if it's during the end of the week, what I the results for the end of the week. And so, yeah, I've been doing pretty good. As you can see in my day trading journal, made a couple of mistakes, learned from those mistakes, and I'm sharing specifically those mistakes. I feel like that's very, very key. Although I've noticed that there's quite a few traders, whether they're new or seasoned, they only like to post their wins and really focus on their wins versus focusing on what they did wrong, or exposing their mistakes, so that people can really learn and see behind the veil of day trading stock options. Now, there's various strategies that you can use, various uh, stocks that you can trade, um, and the costs vary. So you can trade as little, as 150 bucks on up, to thousands of dollars. So it just kind of depends on what you feel like fits you best. You just have to kind of search for mentors who you believe can teach you and train you a specific strategy that you feel like fits your style and personality. And you have to decide to stick with it though, because you need to trade it consistently, even through the down periods. Um, so that you can really understand exactly how the strategy works, basically master it. And then if you decide that you want to identify a different strategy, then yeah, you can do that. But typically you want to wait like 6 months to a year, like implement that strategy for 6 months to a year, record your performance in a day trading journal, and then reflect on those results, weekly, monthly, daily, weekly, monthly, and then by the end of the year, and see what you think. And if it's not working for you, if you feel like, there's a better strategy out there, because there's thousands, there's tons, literally, you can go ahead and try to, look for new strategies, um, research new strategies and see which one works best for you. But yeah, for myself, like this is what I've been doing for the month of April. Started, with a couple of wins. I did have some losses, and I talked about those losses as well. As far as what I could have done differently, where I feel like I erred, or what mistakes I made, and what corrections need to be done going into the next trading session, right? And same with May. Um, April, I ended pretty good, right? I This was the end of April, so I was ending April with, I think I was up like $1,000 bucks, and then coming into May had a couple of losses, significant losses. But these losses were totally avoidable. This was the biggest, on the 8th and on the 21st. And I just discovered that I was just staying in trades too long, and the losing trades too long, and I needed to, reduce my stop loss limit percentage. I think it was above like anywhere between like up to 15%, like 15 or 20% or something like that of my position. So I just decided to reduce that to 5 to 7%, and which was reflected here on the second, was $1,000. that I lost total after four trades. And then I thought to myself that I felt like this was a little bit too high because my average win amount was less than that. So I wanted to reduce that even more to match what I was, you know, winning. So not to have losses that's, superseded my win rate. So yeah, I did that and made those adjustments. So you can see, had a couple of nice wins the first week of June. So coming into June, June is looking very nice, very nice. And then nice gain on the 10th. And so this month alone, I'm already at over 6K. And that's pretty amazing, right? Because like I said, um, as a six-figure salary earner, basically making, 8 to 10K per month, this is pretty dope. Within 3 months to see that how possible this is. So really what I want to highlight is not the wins because we're not trading the P&L. The P&L is nice. That's the reward. That's the cherry on top. But it's really focusing on the strategy, how well it works, um, how often you're able to repeat it, in terms of identifying the proper setups for the stock that you're trading, and focusing on improving upon those errors or mistakes, right? Identifying them, becoming aware of them, understanding your psychology. Like, why did I make that decision? Like, why did I make that decision? And understanding that is really, really key. So, coming into today, taking a look at Tesla. Wow, there was a significant dip um, in June, right? Coming off the previous month. If I go to the actual stock here in Trading View, man, we had a huge dip, like a huge sell off based on the news and when Trump and Elon got into it, and I was actually in this trade in in this trade, and I didn't know that the trade would continue to, or excuse me, I didn't know that the sale of Tesla would continue, for the entire day. And that's just kind of the thing, right? You learn as you experience, and this could have been for me a six-figure day, easy, like a six-figure day. I am sad that I missed out on this opportunity, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so they got into it. They had a little spat back and forth, and the investors got spooked, and so people just began to. Oops, let me fix that. People just began to sell off the stock. Now, what we want to do is basically wait for the stock to reach a bottom, and once it reaches a bottom, that's when we want to buy. Okay, once we confirm that the bottom is reached, and we're going to continue up from there, that's when we want to buy. So ideally, we want to make money once the stock buy low and begin to capitalize on those gains once the stock continue its way upward. And that's what I did. As you can see from my journal, I capitalized pretty well on those opportunities. But this is just a small window of what I could have gained. Like, this isn't reflective of what the actual potential could have been. Like, I could have made, like, oh man, it's disappointing. Like I said, six figures. But anyway, it is what it is. So what we want to do is come into today looking at the pre-market, um, looking at the pre-market based on where we were Friday, right? Friday we started started to make our way upward. Nice strong upward momentum. Buyers really stepped in significantly Friday and pushed the stock upward, where we pivot from Wednesday, which was at 334. So now we're right back reclaiming that price. Um, and so this is a really good sign. Hopefully, we can continue the momentum upward to the 370s, where we um, what we pivoted from last week, or excuse me, last month, because we reached as high as I think it was 368 and change. So yeah, we got a few key levels to look out for, right? So we got 336 and change. We have multiple touches here. This was a key level. And let's see, we can look at 347 as well as 355. Okay, so we'll see coming into this week what Tesla does. Now, what we want to do before I draw out the my key levels, as you can see, I already have a couple of key levels. So I'll explain these key levels as well. Bear with me as I get this summary down packed, because this is very new for me. So I wanted to get started and just really get familiar, or really get comfortable discussing what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, in terms of my day trading journey, as I continue focusing on Tesla specifically and learning this stock's behavior. I don't want to focus on all the other stocks. I will trade them, but my positions, if I do decide to trade those, will be very, very low. Tesla is where I'm doing a position of 10K or greater. So I've been doing between 10 and 50K so far. All right. So that's just where I'm starting out. Once I feel very, very comfortable, probably by the end of the year, then excuse me, then I'll increase my position. But yeah, it's been very lucrative so far, so I'm really looking forward to that. But let's focus on the news. Let's check out any news. So let's take a look here. We do have some red folder news. News is important to focus on at the beginning of the day, intraday, and toward the end of the day, so you can keep an eye out on potentially news that can impact your trade. So you don't want to be in a trade unless you feel like you can weather, the storm if the trade begins to work against you. Let's say, for example, if we go back to the stock here, let's say, for example, if you got in somewhere at this point, and you're doing a swing trade maybe, and the trade began to make its way up here, and then you're like, well, I could get out and take profit, but I'm going to stay in. But that news is coming in today, or not today specifically, but this day, Wednesday, and you're like, well, I'm cool, I'll suffer the weather the storm if the news is significant, but as long as it doesn't breach a certain key level. Let's say you draw out this key level, you mark this as a key level, and you're like, hey, this is where I'll exit the trade if the stock breaches this key level. And so the news breaks and we get close to your key level, but we don't actually reach your key level. That's where the entry is important, and plays a significant role. But typically, let's say if you got in today, or let's say you started your swing trade, this day, June 10th, and we're coming into news on Wednesday the 11th, you wouldn't want to hold this overnight, because that news could break, or if the news is expected to break, or if you're anticipating news to break, you wouldn't want to sit in that um, overnight, because it could drop significantly post market and pre market, right? This is the post market zone, after the market closes, and this is the pre market zone when the pre market opens. So from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So yeah, so you could lose significant money. So you don't want to do that. So that's just one thing you want to be careful about. So that's why we check out the news to see if we see any significant news like PPI, that's red folder, and it'll show red folder. Obviously, coming into today, we don't have much red folder news. There is some tentative red folder news, but we don't know. So we'll just have to keep an eye out on that. This could potentially move. So we have that coming up here in 1 minute at 7:30. So we'll see what happens, and they'll post the actual results here. So once that happens, then I can talk about my game plan coming into today. But so far, I'm really liking what I see. So let's check out the stocks here. Let me look at Tesla. Where's my Qs? Okay. Wow. Wow. This is nice. So looking coming into today's pre-market, the market appears to be the market appears to be up, and that's a good sign. So hopefully we continue that trend upward, so we can capitalize on that upward momentum and get money, get to the bag. So this is nice. I actually stayed into a swing trade for SPY and I already have a couple of swing trades for Tesla. So the market looks like it's really strong. Hopefully we come into the open and just really push higher. That'll really be nice. Above the previous day highs, that would really be a good sign. And then just kind of come back. What I'll be looking for is to push above this key level, the previous day highs, and then come back and retest this level and to bounce off and continue the trend upward. So far, so good. Let's see. Do we have? Should have posted by now. Okay, so all right, we did come in. Wow. So the forecast was 5.9, and we came in well below, or excuse me, well above that at 16. So let's see. Let's see if that affects the market. I don't see anything just yet. So we'll just kind of stay tuned and see what's going on. Let me switch to this chart. Okay. So, all right. So coming into today, let me go to SPY, check out the 5 minute. Okay, so still looks good. I don't see anything crazy. Let me switch to, yeah, it looks like the market is, nope, that's not the view I want. I just want QQQ. Wow, Friday. Okay. Why is, hold on. Qs. Sorry about this. Give me a second. Switch to Qs. There we go. Slide that back over. All right, so we are dropping a bit from, looks like, from that news 7:30. So we are dropping a little bit. Let me move this over here. Let's check out SPY. Okay, so we are dropping a little bit here. So we'll see coming into the open um, how that how significant that impact will be. Like I said, hopefully we continue up. But let me talk about my game plan coming until today. Let's see. So this is looking good. So let me switch to. So here's my key levels. I'm just gonna go over this real quick, and then I'll call it a day. Let me make sure before. Oh, let me check one other thing. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so yeah, so that's it for the red folder news. So let me go ahead and talk about my game plan coming into today. So as I said, I have a couple of swing trades active for Tesla. So hopefully we continue, you know, we continue what I like to see, continue upward. Actually, what I like to see is the reaction off this previous day high. So I have two key levels drawn here. Um, well, three actually. We have 330, 331, 332, and 333 basically. So which is the previous day high. So we got the pre-market high, previous day high, and the pre-market low. So I'd like to see the reaction, like a break above. Oh, why is that? Hold on. Let me, for some reason, it's not showing. Do I have to switch? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, like I apologize. I thought you guys could see my trading view, but I wasn't paying attention. So, anyway, this is the video. This is the first session where I work out the kinks. So I work out the kinks in this video. So this will be my. So y'all got to give me some grace. Grant me some grace for this one. So I thought I had it set to the whole screen, and you couldn't see my trading view. So I apologize about that. I thought I was sharing, but obviously I wasn't. I'm gonna have to wasn't paying attention on my other screen here to see to make sure that you guys could see that. But typically, what I was looking at is based on this where Tesla fell from. This was that big sell off where that spat occurred, right on June 5th. So now we've been making our progressively, slowly but surely, making our way back to where we pivoted from, right? So starting Monday, nice upward momentum. We did have some pullback going towards the end of the week last week, and Friday was a very big, unexpected push. I did not expect Tesla um, to end this strong, like to rebound this strong. I was expecting this to happen today. So I'm really surprised about that, but cool. I was happy either way. I was able to, enter a few swings at this point. So I'll just sit back and see how it goes. Now that we're coming into the pre-market, this is the pre-market zone. This is the post-market zone. So this is after close. This is during the opening of the following of the next day. So this starts from 3 a.m. to uh, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it's 1 hour ahead if you're on the East Coast or Eastern Standard Time. Sorry. So coming into today, um, checking out the market, what I like to focus on is these two indexes, QQQ and SPY, to gauge what is potentially going to happen with Tesla. This is what I learned from my mentor specifically. So I like to watch both indices to see which way they're trending. Are they trending up? Are they trending down? Because that'll give me an idea of what to expect from Tesla. Now, Tesla doesn't always 100% follow this trend. There is deviation, right? There will be some deviation at times, especially when if it's news related, right? So Tesla might deviate at times from these indices, and that's okay. So, what I like to do is just keep an eye out on news, and that's why you see that I have my news folders up in TradingView as well as Thinkorswim, so that I can keep an eye out on potential news coming into today to see if I see any really huge headlines that could move the market, right? Could impact the market or Tesla specifically. So far so good. So I got these key levels. What I like to see coming into today is either some, from the open, like bounce off of this key level 331 and, push higher and retest this zone. I'd be looking for, it depends on what happens, right? Either we come in, bounce off of 331 and continue higher, and then wait for a pullback down to this key level, the pre-market or previous day high, and then for, a continuation to the upside to the next key level here, which I have is 351, but we could draw out another level that's a little bit closer. So if I switch to the 1 hour, we have potentially, let's go to the 15-minute and look at the next zone here. So yeah, we have multiple touches here and here, looking back Wednesday last week. So let's just draw this key level. Since we have multiple touches here, boom. So we'll make this, oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Just want to change this color, make it white. All right, cool. So now that we have that key level drawn, let's look for potentially one more. So yeah, this is a nice one. So this was support. It was used on support June 2nd and became resistance June 4th. So you can see we made our way to the downside, then came back up, still using this as resistance. So you can see we pushed back below. Now what I'd like to see is a reaction off this key level, this 331 or the pre-market or previous day high, for a continuation up beyond 335 for a retest back to 335 and continue upward, right? So we can draw another key level here, which would be, yeah, we can use this. Let's just use this as a key level here. Since we got multiple touches, we could use I like to use the pre-market high since we got multiple touches here. Yeah, so we have 335, and then we could use, let's see. Yeah, let's use the pre-market low here as well. Oops. Okay, so let's just use these as key levels. To draw the key level, basically what I'm looking for is multiple touches within the looking left for previous day highs, previous highs or lows, right? So basically, this was the high on Wednesday. This was the high on Wednesday, June 4th. Yeah, this was the high on Wednesday, June 4th. We have multiple touches here. You can see this served as support in the post market. We came back and fell below on June 4th. So now we're looking to reclaim these levels coming back into today, right? So we are reclaiming this key level of 335. This is where we pivoted from last week, Wednesday, right? So once we reclaim this level, then we'll be looking to reclaim the other previous day level or previous lows and highs, right? So this was a low coming into last week, right? in the pre-market. So we'll use that as a key level, and hopefully we can break above these key levels and make our way back to the upside to that 370 mark this week. So the launch that we're anticipating this not this week, but coming into next week, right, is the robotaxi launch. Now it's tentative that it will launch the 22nd. The initial launch date was the 12th. So that was supposed to occur last week, but we did not launch last week, or Tesla did not launch last week. So Elon tweeted last week saying that tentatively the launch will occur on the 22nd, but they're checking to make sure everything looks good, to ensure safety and successful launch. So we'll, just have to stay tuned for that. Now, he said it could be as late as the 28th of June. So I'm okay either way. As long as we just kind of continue to make our way to the upside, as long as there's no significant news that could send the stock to the downside. If so, then I'll have to, if that happens before this Friday, then I'll have to exit my swing positions, because my swing positions do expire this Friday. So, um, yep, we'll take a look and stay tuned for that. So this is my pre-market. It's my first pre-market live. Don't don't trash me too bad. Leave your comments, leave your feedback in the comment section. I will revise. Make improvements. Sorry, not revise, but I will make improvements. I was going to decide to do it tomorrow, but what I thought about it when I was lying in my bed looking up at the ceiling is, I said, you know what? I need to get up and just do it and not procrastinate. So that's a big thing for me, is just getting up to do the thing. So bear with me, and hopefully that may motivate you to just get up and just do it, because sometimes if we don't, then the next day comes or the next opportunity comes and we still don't take action or take that next step. So that's the one thing that I want to avoid, is not taking a step and just procrastinating, because I feel like um I may do that. Like, I do have a tendency to procrastinate. I don't do it often, because because of that type of mindset. I'll get up and just do it even if it's not perfect. I used to be paralyzed by that, because I like to have things perfect. And so in my earlier years, I'm 46 now. So in my earlier years, when I was much, much younger, I wouldn't even launch or, you know, promote a thing until I felt like it was perfect. And so because it didn't reach my standard, I never launched anything. Um, so that's when I learned, when I became a software engineer, that's when it really, things started to hit home for me, like to really come to, for me to really comprehend like how important it is to just get started and launch with something basic. Like with software, you don't build out the entire program fully featured. What you do is you decide on the minimum viable features, and that serves as your initial launch. Okay. So it might be the top 3 to 5 features that and those features won't even be perfect, but it solves a particular problem and it needs to do it well, right? And that's the primary focus. And so when I went through that as a software engineer 10 years ago, starting as early as 10 years ago, that's when I was like, oh, that's how, if big businesses are doing this, then that's what I need to do. I need not to focus on, perfecting the thing right out the gate, and being afraid of, the negative feedback or the mistakes or the errors or the failures, but embrace those, learn from it, and improve upon it. In software engineering, the term we use is iteration, right? We iterate on these features and slowly but surely improve upon them. So with today, I decided to just go ahead and launch my first pre-market live session this week. Even though I began late, my goal is to do it at 7, or between 6:30 and 7. And so I haven't decided yet, but I did it today a little bit after past 7, like 10 minutes past 7. So But yeah, that's why I decided to just go ahead and do it. And even if I made mistakes, which clearly I did today, but I appreciate you guys sticking in there with me through the and all these little different mannerisms, because obviously you could see I was a little unprepared, because I really wasn't expecting to do it. But I'm glad I did. Really happy that I did. So I feel productive today, and hopefully my trading results will be as productive as well. So before we leave, I don't see any news right now. Let me do a quick refresh. Okay, so we had something. Tesla raises US prices on upgraded model. So let's see how that impacts the market. Let me bring this up in a new tab. So this was expected, right? The company announced Thursday via its website and official X account. Okay, so yeah, I did see this last week. All variants of both models are affected. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna have 5,000 more. Okay, yeah, I did expect that. Yeah, so you can see like we're right back. We're still continuing that trend. Like if you look at these points here, even though we had this big drive to the upside and then a big drop. Notice we didn't drop below this key level. So we stayed in this range and kind of consolidated a bit and then started to push our way back up. So that's pretty good. Like this is since July of last year. So that's pretty good. And with Tesla, I've noticed what just following Tesla, like I said, learning what the company is doing. Tesla is focusing on, I wonder if I can pull this up. Hold on, let me see. Ideas. Let me open this up in a different tab. Click on this, do overview, and see if it points it out here. I think it should. Give me 1 second, bear with before I wrap this up. Uh, what I'm looking for is, huh, they don't show it here. Interesting. Is it under technicals, maybe? No. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. So 89% basically of Tesla's business is automotive, right? And then uh, a little over 10% is energy. Now, and you can see the breakdown of where they're doing business. So we got 21% in China, 48% in the US, and 29% internationally. Now, what I've noticed is that Tesla is making a move towards a more AI focused based business. So, starting with its robotaxi launch, it's going to move heavily, and it from the news that I'm seeing, the reports is that it's going to move heavily into AI, and that's going to be its focus, and that's what's going to allow this company to remain diversified enough to where, you know, the negative aspects, or like the, in terms of like tariffs, things of that nature, all that relevant or related news based uh, events that took place previously that has potentially impacted sales for Tesla. That I think what's going to happen is investors are looking at this and saying, you know what, based on what we're seeing, uh, in terms of the direction Tesla's moving in and what Elon is, constantly reporting, is the direction for Tesla. I think that has allowed Tesla to continue its momentum to the upside. So that's why I feel like we're making this big push, even though, you know, um, that we had a lot of news and reports as far as like the EV credits that's been canceled, you know, and taxes, tariffs, and which affects the, you know, imports needed for building, these Tesla vehicles, as well as the raw materials that are, we import from China to help build these vehicles. So yeah, so a lot's been going on, and that's cool. And I was really happy to see that, this is a company that's not looking to remain stagnant, and they're looking to make moves into other sectors to, help keep the company diversified. Because one of the things I notice about Tesla is no one really understands. I don't know if this is the right way to describe it, but no one really knows the true value of Tesla. That's why this stock is so volatile, and it just continues to goes up and down based off of news. And yeah, that's what I've been seeing a lot of analysts, say that, with that reoccurring theme in terms of their reports on Tesla each day and each week and each month. So stay tuned for that, y'all. I'm happy that you guys was able to bear with me. So till tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave your constructive criticism, feedback. Let me know how you feel like I can improve. Again, I'm only covering, the goal of these pre-market sessions is to cover Tesla specifically. I notice a lot of people are covering like the different stocks or multiple stocks all at once. Me, I'm only focusing on Tesla specifically, right? And uh, anything related to Tesla. Obviously, Tesla is in the indices SPY, so that's why I cover both SPY and QQQ, because those are really good indicators of what's, Tesla's going to do that day. So it's important to kind of find different edges in the marketplace to help you gauge what direction the market is going to go. All right. So with that said, I'm going to close it here. I'm going to drop the mic here. Very glad that I did decide to do this today. So hopefully no one, I don't know how many people did decide to jump on. I don't see anyone on the live today, but I was expecting that because no one knows that I'm actually doing this. So hopefully you guys find this valuable. And if you do, like, subscribe, and follow for more. Now, my channel, this all videos, all pre-market videos will be added to the pre-market live playlist. This channel specifically, though, is more diverse and focuses on finance as a whole. All right. So with finance, we focus on answering three questions. Number one, how do we get money? Okay. Number two, what do you do when you get it? And number three, how do you grow and protect it? Okay, so with finance, those are the three questions that must be asked and answered. Okay, so this channel focuses on finance as a whole, not just, making money via day trading. I consider myself an investor, and so my mindset about investing is more diverse. And so I'm looking for various ways to invest, whether it's in businesses or real estate or stock. I began as a investor in real estate, and I still invest in real estate. I bought my home, I own it free and clear, and I continue to pour money into it to increase its value, to renovate it, make it look, more nice and updated and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm true to this. Like, I'm really true to the investment side of things, and I really wish I had people in my family that knew about this, that could have taught this to me at an early age. Sucks that I'm 46 and I'm just now really getting started. But hey, so far so good. As y'all see with my day trading results, it doesn't really take me long to, begin to like kind of pick up, because trading stock options is the same as real estate. in terms of how real estate lease options or land contracts work. So once I understood that, I was like, oh, this is easy peasy. So with that said, I'm going to drop the mic right here. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next session. Again, every day I'll be conducting these pre-market live sessions for Tesla specifically at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, uh, 8 a.m. Eastern. All right. Till next. See you guys later. I'm out.